Hi everyone and welcome to Chop Chat Cook. I'm Joanne and today I've got Edwina. Welcome Edwina.
Hi Joanne.
And today we're going to be talking about career paths to writing. This episode Edwina and I are going to have a cup of tea for Edwina.
Thank you.
And I'm going to have
favourite.
Peppermint. And I'm going to have a cup of coffee as we chat about Edwina's paths to writing and being an author and a yoga teacher as well. So there's a combination there, isn't there?
Yeah, well, there are lots of different paths that you can take for writing. So people who have tuned in who want to be writers, the main thing is just write. That's what writers do. Don't be afraid of calling yourself a writer. If you're writing regularly, you're a writer. If it's something that you are called to do it. It's not a sensible thing to do. A life in the arts is not the most lucrative of careers. Yeah, so being a writer is like being a sports star. You know, we all aim for the heights, but not everyone can reach that really high income level of, you know, elitism, I suppose, of being the elite few at the top. So you've got to recognise that in Australia, the average income for an author is below the poverty line. I think it's at about $12,000 now. So
That's not very much.
you know, it's not very much.
No.
Do try and keep some other job on the side. I've been very lucky that I'm a trained teacher as well, so I've always done a bit of teaching on the side and yoga teaching as well. So the main thing is write every day. I mean, you can have the weekends off if you like, but set up a regular writing habit. That's the most important thing. And set yourself, it really helps to have some sort of word count that you're aiming for every day. So some people, 500 words is enough. My current word count is I try to do about 2,000 a day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm very excited. So you can get distracted by life, of course, but then always try and come back to your writing. What happens if you've really got that call to be a writer strongly is that when you're not writing, you get very, very grouchy and horrible to be around and unhappy in yourself. As soon as you start writing, you feel a whole lot better. So start writing, and then once you've written things, I would start writing short things too. Start writing short stories, short memoir pieces. You can do flash fiction, which is fiction under 1,000. You can write. There's
That's
even
right.
really
And there's one that's 50 words, isn't
microfiction stuff. There are 8-word stories that the Queensland Writers Centre was doing. That's another thing. Join your local writers centre. So there are organisations wherever you are in the world that support writers. So join your local writers organisation and also start your own little writing support and critique group. Those fellow writers who will read your stories and give you feedback on them are really, really important. As writers, we're working on our own most of the time, but it's so important to have people who understand writing, not just your family or somebody who says, oh, that's jolly good, or as so somebody once told me, who shall remain nameless, oh, who would want to read that? No. So they either go one way or the other. So find writer friends that you can meet with, say once a month or so, to read your work, critique it for you, and perhaps give you some ideas of how to see it differently or how they would fix it. So that's important. And then the most important thing, submitting your work somewhere. You have to send it somewhere. It's no use having written the perfect story or a work of heartbreaking genius sitting in your bottom drawer that you think, oh, well, if I die of cancer very soon, someone will find it in the drawer and they will publish it and I'll be famous. You know, these are the sort
posthumously.
Yeah, posthumously. So that somebody will, do it for me. No. It's terrifying and rejections hurt. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They hurt even after you've been doing it 17 years like me. It still hurts. So, but you get used to it after a while. You just think, oh, the perfect publisher, not at that address, and you send it somewhere else. So keep trying, keep submitting. So I have a secret tip for submitting.
Okay, secret everyone.
Secret tip. It's the 10-point plan. So every story or short piece that you send out is 1 point.
Okay.
Every novel or full-length work is 3 points.
Okay.
And my best writing buddy, Helena Pastor, she decided that also grant applications, they are also 3 points because they're so horrible.
There's a lot of work that
do.
goes,
So,
that goes in a grant application. That's true.
You've got to do imaginary budgets as a writer.
That's true. A guesstimate.
Guesstimates. So, and you've got to try and have 10 points out at any time. So the more points out you have, the better. But try and keep it around 10. So generating work to send 10 out, that helps. With motivation to make sure you've got those 10 points, and when one comes back you've got to keep your 10 points out, so you send it out. So then when you get a yes, of course, yay, fantastic, and you've just increased your odds. So whenever you send something in, think of it like a lottery with slightly better odds than like Gold Lotto, and the prize money is not so good, but you never know, it might be one day. But that's the secret, you've got to submit.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah.
And you've got a network as well, haven't you?
Yes.
So you sort of, as hard as it is, that's sort of got to be part of what you do, because you've got to get out there, you've got to meet people, talk to people, and tell them what you're working on as well.
Yeah. And the great thing is writers are nice people.
They
are.
know,
we're all sitting around thinking about what life is and trying to make meaning out of life through story and making stuff up that's fun, and we get to talk about people that we make up as if they're real.
That's true.
Yeah,
and
so
then sometimes it
it's
blurs, doesn't it?
Oh yes.
It does, it blurs.
Yes.
All right, I think that I think that's really, really good advice, Edwina. And just in closing, did you have sort of anything else that you'd like to add? Because I was just sort of interested in what you were saying about how you had you taught at an English school in Cambodia. You've got a grad dip in education as well.
Yeah, special needs.
Special needs.
I've taught in special schools and in schools for special purposes, like in juvenile justice centres and places like that. And sort of always people on the periphery. They're my favourites.
They're very interesting. They're sort of on the fringes, aren't they?
Yes, I suppose I've always been drawn to people like that because they're more interesting. And also I thought, so you can learn the craft of writing. Mainly you learn by doing, but there is so much available online that you can learn by reading about. But also, when I first started writing, I attended 10 Queensland Writers Centre workshops in 1 year.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so I was able to go in as a volunteer then and help organise the day, but attend the workshops for free. So see if you can work some deal like that out if money's really a problem.
Good plan.
And then I applied to do a Master's in Creative Writing. So there are undergraduate degrees that you can do in writing now. When I was young, there was no such thing. Well, certainly not in Australia, maybe in Iowa there was, but not now. You don't have that problem now. You can go to apply to a university and study creative writing. Sometimes it has the opposite effect at university because you're doing a lot of critiquing as well. But other courses, especially courses that are run by writers, are very valuable, and I've learnt the most from other writers and courses that I've been to. But it does help your CV if you want to teach in universities, for instance, if you have a master's. So I've got a master's in creative writing.
Okay, that's a good point.
Or a PhD. So people with PhDs can get more work, but there's not that much. So it depends what way you want to go.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. All right, well, I think that probably brings us to the end of the episode. Is there anything else that you'd just like to add in closing?
Good luck.
Well, thanks, Edwina. Thanks very
much. Keep writing and enjoy it. Don't forget that it's fun. We do it because it's fun. Because when you're serious about it and you're battling rejections and putting all your hope and faith into a project that you love and it's rejected again and again, it can really, really hurt. So you've got to remember, okay, it's just a lotto. Treat it more lightly and then do it because you enjoy it.
Yeah, and sometimes just put that project to the side and start a new one.
Oh yeah, start new ones, but don't forget the old ones. Don't give up on them. Keep submitting. Stories that I wrote back in 2005 only found homes in 2014. That was a story that was in the Best Australian Short Stories. So don't give up. And it's been rejected lots of places.
Congratulations.
So don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
So that's a good point to end on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't give up. Till next episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks
Thanks,
Edwina.
Joanne.